Hello, welcome to Record Sports Hotline Live, brought to you by NordVPN, the VPN which was very helpful in me seeing a lot of the weekend's football. And if you want a discount, check out our description below. Tonight, it's a packed room, joined by Record Sports' Keith Jackson. Keith,
evening. Good. Stressed, a bit stressed. I've been running about like mad today. More of which later was Steve Clark had his Scotland squad announcement at a primary school in Renfrew. Yeah, I know. And there's some interesting talking points in it. There's some really, really interesting stuff, which unfortunately isn't a talking point because it was in the embargoed section of today's press conference. I'm just telling Scotland fans might want to take a look at around about 10:30 tonight on the Daily Record website.
Aye, absolutely. We're also joined by Record
Pre-World Cup bombshell.
We always like a bombshell. But we're joined as well by Record Sports' Michael Gannon. Mick, how are you?
What a big tease he is, eh? Sitting here on
I wish I could tell you more, Mick.
Honestly, keep me to yourself. It's listen, go out and buy a paper. Good stuff. Get to the garage at 10:30, get us a paper.
We're also joined by the one and only Des Roache. Des Roast? Des...
Spit roast.
Sorry, bit far. Sorry, Des. The one and only Des Roache, former Grade 1 referee. Des, how's it going?
That was doing all right until Keith just flung in one of my
Oh, man.
Oh, you've gone mute on us, Des.
Des, you've gone mute.
There you go. It's never a Des appearance without him going mute.
There's always an issue.
Is that Des Roast? He's off ski.
I don't know why I said that. I apologise, Des, if you can still hear us.
What did he eat?
Hold on, let me remove him. Well, Des is hopefully going to join us in just a minute, and there's plenty for us to talk about.
Yeah, we've got a lot to discuss, haven't we?
It felt to me, Keith, like it was quite a quiet weekend decisions-wise, but it's actually a good 5 or 6 that we can pour over.
Oh no, there's plenty. There's plenty of talking points. Unfortunately, it looks as if it's been another difficult weekend for referees, failing to see things that they should see, seeing things that they shouldn't see, all sorts of curiosities. So once Des fixes himself out there,
yeah, that should be it.
A few people in the comments, Des Rebel saying NordVPN, Des, need to get it.
Yeah.
That will solve all your problems.
Des, if you go into the comments section below our YouTube, you'll find a discount code, and so fill your boots.
There you go.
That's fine. I'll go with it. I'll go with that then, guys.
Des, we were just saying there that there's plenty for us to be talking about, plenty of decisions. I think probably the best place for us to start is Celtic's penalty and the red card for Longelo at the weekend. I know Mick was obviously at Celtic Park. We'll get his take in a moment or two. But Des, how did you see it?
I think that VAR worked there. That's why it's there to get the big calls correctly. But what I was more concerned with is why John Beaton didn't call it himself, because he's 10, 12 yards away from it. Clearly unobstructed view. There's no need for him to be looking for the ball in the air because the ball's just going to land. And Longelo is all over Maeda. There's no hesitation in what's the correct outcome, and it's a penalty and a red card.
Michael's got a theory in this, Des.
All right.
I do, Des. I'm just wondering if John has got a wee bit of performance anxiety at the moment.
I'm still the best of us.
No, there's a reason why, because I mean, obviously he's been involved in a few kind of big decisions recently on the pitch and in the VAR room. And in this instance, it looks so obvious at the game. He was only 5 yards from the incident. You think it's a penalty kick, red card. He should really seen that, making the call. And okay, he's got the safety net of VAR, so he knows that he can hold fire and then let the boys sort it out. But he's an experienced referee. He should make that call. And if it's wrong, the VAR guys can sort it out. But the reason why I'm saying about performance anxiety is there's another instant early in the game when Oxlade-Chamberlain is very high on Elijah Just. And we at the time kind of thought in the press box, we're thinking, that's a bad one. That could be borderline red card. And he didn't. He gave a yellow card. And I think it was one of those ones that if he gave a red, VAR wouldn't overturn it. But I think maybe it wasn't quite enough for VAR to get involved. But I just think I would expect John Beat to make that big call straight away and make a regular red card out there. He didn't. And then there's another one when Chankara's running through and gets clipped right on the edge of the box, and it looked more a penalty kick than actually the Maeda one did. And he didn't make a decision, didn't give a free kick, didn't give a foul or anything. And he thought maybe it was a penalty, but waiting for VAR again, or it turned out it was slightly outside the box. I'm just wondering, is he worried about making a big call and then getting it overturned? So he's waiting for the guys in the video room to make a decision for him, rather than take responsibility and make these big calls on the pitch. I don't know. It looked to me like he avoided 3 big decisions in that game, rather than taking it by the scruff of the neck and making decisions and waiting for VAR to come in if it's a mistake, rather than letting VAR be the safety net. I could be wrong, but he seemed reluctant to make those big calls on that moment.
And just before you come in there, Des, we're getting plenty of comments coming in. If you want to get involved in the conversation, hit us with your comments and questions. McKenna says refs are chickening out and letting VAR make the big calls. Is that a fair comment, Des?
Well, to get back to Mick, performance anxiety. If he's got performance anxiety, then he shouldn't be accepting the appointment to be in the game. That's the first point, because John is vastly experienced. Probably himself and Stephen McLean are our 2 most experienced and one of our high-profile guys who have been trusty for these games. Why he's never seen the Maeda one, I've got no idea. When you're going on saying about potentially letting the VAR guys pick it up for them, then see if they are, that's worrying, because that's very, very lazy refereeing, and that's not a word I would use lightly, but that's been very lazy, thinking, well, do you know what, I'm copping out because somebody else will get it for me. No, wait a minute, that's why you're the man in the middle. You're there to make the decisions, and whether you're not there to be liked. Let's be honest. Whatever decision you make on that pitch, 50% of the population are going to disagree with you. That's just the nature of football. The Oxlade-Chamberlain one, I thought that was naughty. I thought he was. I wouldn't like to think that he was going to hurt. I don't think he's going to hurt anyone. But if a red card was given there, I don't think you'll get any complaints on it. I don't think. And thankfully, Elijah Just, who's been an absolute revelation this year, he's not come away with maybe a bad injury. But I would hate to think that we're at a point in our season, in our game, that referees are scared to make decisions, because if you're scared to make a decision, you shouldn't have the whistle and be in the middle of the park in the first place, because that's your job. A striker's there to score goals, a goalkeeper's there to save goals, a referee's there to make decisions.
Do you think that John might struggle because of some of the accusatory stuff that flies around, and we've all heard it? Do you think that puts him in an almost impossible position when it comes to refereeing Celtic games or Rangers games, for that matter?
It certainly shouldn't. And like you, we've all heard these silly rumours and stuff like that. Listen, John's been there for a long, long time. He wouldn't still be there if he wasn't capable of doing the job. I just think at this moment in time, he's maybe not having a great run of form, which happens to every player, happens to every referee. These things go on. But if John felt that he couldn't be trusted to make those decisions and make it with confidence and make it with integrity, then John would be the first person to take himself away from it. Or I would certainly like to think so, because, listen, he goes home to his family and his friends, and people know that he's an honest guy, just as we are. We do an honest job. I don't think John will be affected by that. I certainly would like to think that he wouldn't be affected by it. He may have his private moments where he always thinks, oh my, got that right, or I got that one wrong, etc. But that happens. But I wouldn't be thinking that he's scared to make decisions because of one accusation or another. I think that's got to be put to bed.
Another one from Celtic, you can see in your screen there. Ricky wants to know, I don't know if you caught Des Roache, the alleged elbow by Dyson Maeda on Ibrahima said. By the way, these picks don't do it justice, but obviously we can't really show the clips of the game. But I don't think this was a red card, personally. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I don't think he actually connected with his face.
I think it might be 2 red cards, Dan.
Really?
Aye.
Go on.
Honestly, having seen, there's two actions here. The first one is there as they initially make contact. Now, in this picture, granted, the contact appears to be into the chest. I don't know if that makes a great deal of difference, but I think Maeda knows what he's doing. I think he knows where the player is. I think that he motions his elbow into him, and then following that, when the player goes down, Maeda's on top of him and shoves a hand into his face. I think Maeda was really lucky on that one, I have to say.
What do you think, Des?
I wouldn't be looking for a red card for it. I think he's very lucky not to escape with a minimum yellow card. I think it was maybe an outstretched arm, and then why is he getting involved with his side when he's on the ground and pushing him? It's not like Maeda, to be honest. I've not really seen that sort of side of his game before. But I think a yellow card for unsporting behaviour and just sort of being stupid, really. But I don't see it being violent. I don't see it being serious foul play.
You don't think he knows what he's doing with the elbow in the first instance? Because I do.
No, I don't.
What's he doing with his elbow then, Des?
Well, the two of them are jostling with one another, aren't they? They're going together. I don't see it being violent, Keith. It's not a violent one.
Just to back you up, Des, I agree. Just to stop Keith picking you, I thought it was a wee bit harsh if it would be
Michael.
Card, but there you go.
I, in real time, I didn't think so. I thought it was two guys going for a ball. It was a shoulder challenge between two of them, and the arms were kind of bouncing about, and that happened to be in the region. I don't think he went. I think to get an elbow red card, you have to have a traction, move back, and then thump. I don't think I've seen that. I think I've seen some flailing arms and the boy going down. And I get you, I mean, about the kind of reaction to the guy, but I think he thought the boy had made a meal of it.
Yeah.
I think a yellow card, a wrap in the back of the hands, and tell him to behave. I think we'd be fine. I didn't see that as a red card, I must admit.
I thought he was lucky.
Aye. Well, look, plenty of other comments coming in. It leads us perfectly to some more calls from the weekend. Rangers Easy OK says consistency drives fan nuts. Penalty claim for us in Paisley. I wouldn't like to see given us a penalty, but when you see the one given at Ibrox Neil Firm, it's scarily similar. Colin must go. I think he's referring, guys, to the Rogic. I'm having an absolute flyer today. Gogic handball. I don't know what you guys thought of it. I mean, it definitely, from what I saw, hit his hand, but I didn't know there was an awful lot he could do about it. It was point blank range.
I don't think that's a penalty kick, but I don't know anymore because, as we're about to discuss, it's become just about impossible to know because of the lack of consistency, because some are given, some aren't. I don't think that should be given as a penalty kick, but I do think there's an argument there that if you're going to give for some, then don't you have to give for all? And that's what's leaving us all in a state of confusion. We don't know the rules anymore, or what the application of the rules is meant to look like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this one as well. I mean, Ibrox says the handball rule is a joke. Dundee United get a penalty with the ball hitting the defender's hand, nowhere near in goal, yet no one for Gogic, which was similar in target. And he's obviously referencing the Simon Murray one, which, I mean, I'll declare myself right away. I thought that was remarkably harsh. It was at point, again, this picture doesn't do it justice, but the ball's thumped at him. His hand's by his side, and you saw him saying to the referee afterwards, what can I do? I mean, he couldn't get out of the way. I mean, I just think... Go on, Keith.
No, Des, go on. Give us your verdict on the two of these, please.
Listen, guys, I'm entirely in agreement with you. What is handball now? What we don't know. There's two positions that we've seen yesterday. The Gogic one, I agree. The Raskin's header came off him. Gogic's hand is out. It's not meant. But if it had been given, would anybody be shocked? No. Not in what we've seen. And then the Simon Murray one as well. I mean, the ball's going out for a corner, and it's just
a by kick.
Yes,
by kick or a Dundee throw in.
I mean, even a throw, eh?
And so here's my issue, Des. Right, look at that freeze frame.
Yeah.
So the ball is going to Simon Murray's right hand side. I don't think it's going to the Dundee United player. I think it's either going behind or out for a throw for Dundee. And at that point, what point is it fair to penalise Dundee and give a penalty kick? Look where Dundee United are on the pitch, and that ball's probably going to go out for a Dundee throw or by kick. I just don't understand what part of the game we're trying to satisfy here by penalising Dundee in a situation that they've got under control to give Dundee United a free shot at penalty kick.
Completely agree with you. 100% agree with you. I wish that handball should go back to the very, very basics. Is it deliberate? Is it intentional? Is it stopping a promising attack? Is it stopping a potential goal? That's what handball should be. Is that too simple? Now, if you look at that Dundee United one, you're basically getting rewarded for bluter ball. Just go to the box and bluter. Just bluter the ball at somebody, and if it comes off their hands, you're getting a penalty kick.
I think there should be do Dundee get an advantage out of what Simon Murray does there?
Absolutely
no, they don't. No, it's on the contrary. It's maybe stopping the ball going out of play, keeps it alive. Dundee United might get it into the box. So there is no benefit from Simon Murray doing that. Gogic slightly different because it's a header towards goal.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying I don't. Again, Gogic going by the way handball's been dealt with this year and the way it's been applied, I could expect a penalty kick to be given for that because of where it is going towards the goal.
That's what I thought.
It's not deliberate; it's reactional. Raskin's hit it off him. What can Gogic do? But
he's trying to get his hand out the way,
and unfortunately, his hands went through the ball, but not deliberate. I wouldn't be rushing to give it a penalty kick. And if I did VAR in my ear telling me that that's the way we're being coached, that's the way we're doing, then okay, fine. But for me, the two of them shouldn't. But going by the way refereeing's been run this year, I can accept it. They're both given. As I said, bluter ball, get into the penalty area and just leather it at somebody and see what you get.
Should we just go back to Mizuno says in the comments, if it hits the hand, it's a penalty? And then everyone knows what they stand.
Well, that would at least make it consistent.
Aye.
But it doesn't make it right.
Be dreadfully unfair.
That's what happened a couple of years ago, if you remember rightly, with a season when players are trying to fall up into the guy's arm region. Remember a Champions League final when Liverpool got a penalty kick the first 2 minutes against Spurs. Basically, the ball flipped into the guy's hand. And basically straight after the game, I thought, this can't go on. This is a nonsense. I mean, we said, right, that's not going to be a penalty. So we've changed it that many times. The directors have been mucked about with so much. Nobody seems to have a clue anymore what a penalty kick looks like.
Yeah. So, Mick, is that not where we should go back to? Deliberate, intentional, stopping a goal, stopping a promise attack.
I like that. I mean, the wording should as well have been as your arm in a natural position. I mean, Gogic and Murray's arms, where are they going to put their arms in that situation? They're by their sides. They're not outstretched. The one, someone referenced the one last week with the Sterling one at Ibrox against Celtic.
Yeah.
He's jumped up and he's made himself bigger at 2 yards from goal. I'm afraid if that hits your hand in that position, you're giving a penalty kick away. I mean, that's a penalty kick. They're different. They're getting pinged off you from point blank range, and your arms are nowhere to go. And I get people say, jump up, your arms are going to go up. Yeah, but you're 2 yards from goal and you make yourself bigger. You've saved it. It's a penalty kick. These are different. These are shockers, really.
Still Peter Schmeichel, wasn't it? Used to come out like a starfish.
If you're going to do that, 2 yards for your own goal, the ball hits you in the arm, you're getting your medicine. Do you know what I mean? Whereas these ones are different. These ones I think are incredibly harsh. And I say you can't get back to that idea of pinging balls at close range at defenders and hoping for a penalty. That's not football. That's not how the game's been for decades. That's just not on. So they need to get to grips with that one.
There's a couple more days before we let you go, if that's okay. Hearts had a very damaging defeat on Saturday night at Rugby Park, but when it was 0-0, should they have had a penalty? Claudio Braga, I've got to be honest, I thought this was a penalty. It looked like he was tripped as he entered the box. He didn't go down though, crucially. He stumbled and then kind of recovered himself. You shouldn't have to go down to win a penalty, should you?
Absolutely not. Now, my biggest bugbear for years has been about players diving, because if you're diving, you're cheating. That's basically what you're doing. It's false. You shouldn't have to go down to get a penalty kick. You shouldn't have to go down for the referee to award a foul. A foul's a foul. That was a foul. Braga, to his credit, thought he could probably still try and get to the ball, and it didn't transpire. But just as Mizuno was saying there, it's a stonewall penalty kick. It's a free kick. If that happened in the halfway line, you're giving a free kick and you're moving on. Well, it's a free kick in penalty area, so it's a penalty kick.
So VAR's got to jump into that then?
They should have. because that's a factual decision.
He's been impeded.
Yeah.
I actually think McKenna's right that VAR never gave it either. Apparently, they did say on Sky it's been checked and cleared.
Yeah.
I don't agree with it. I think it was a Braga was clearly impeded. There was contact, and to his credit, he didn't go down making a meal of it. He's tried to continue to play football, but that still shouldn't mitigate the fact that he was fouled in the first place.
No,
And
you can see from that still there. He's doing really well. He's defying the laws of physics actually to stay on his feet in that situation. And if he just falls over, if he falls flat in his face at that point, he gets the penalty kick.
Yeah, I agree.
And this is one of these ones, and I know leagues aren't won and lost by one game and one decision because it's a marathon, not a sprint. But the way the current season is and the topsy-turvy and it's flowing back and forward, I hope this isn't something that comes back to haunt Hearts because they've been great, but it's a penalty kick.
He's been impeded. That's the bottom line, surely.
That's it. Yeah, that's what we said. You said it exactly at that time. The Braga was impeded going forward. Penalty kick.
He's been daft. Braga's been daft. And by the way, his manager will have absolutely wiped the floor with him afterwards, by the way, because he's got to go down. He's got to be. I mean, all right, he's trying to be honest and get back and win the ball. I guarantee his manager won't think the same thing. I guarantee you, the blood in the walls in that dressing room at half time. It was a little bit of naivety, really, because he felt. I think the boy stood on his toe, didn't he?
I think so.
It was enough to make him stumble. He did the old Duncan Goodhue and went 2 arms out and flying face first out of the box.
I think he's got a bit more hair than Duncan Goodhue.
Yeah. That's the arm head, unfortunately.
Me too.
As McKenna points out, though, he's a big jambo. That could have been a point. And Keith,
yeah,
I don't think there's going to be much in this title race. A point or two, maybe.
Well, also it could have been more than a point because
That could have been, right?
it's the old saying, the old cliche: goals change games. So if Hearts get a penalty and score it at that point, the rest of the game can be altered. So yeah, I think they've been hard done by there, that's for sure. What else have we got in your box, Dan?
The last one that I've got was Yusuf Chermiti. I think it was an attacker with Devaney. That one, again, doesn't do it justice, but again, apologies, we can't really show the clips. I didn't notice it in real time, I've got to say, but the clip afterwards, I think it might have been a red card. He goes in late, he catches the back end of Chermiti's ankle, Chermiti goes down in a heap, it looked like a sore one, and I think Devaney was pretty lucky, just personally in my view.
I agree. I think that was, although we heard Willie's talk earlier in the year that part of the foot and the ankle, it didn't buckle, so it wasn't. It's not that serious a yellow card. I think it's a shocking challenge. I don't think that Devaney's went out to maliciously do him, but he's not controlled himself. And yes, I think he's very fortunate, and I think Chermiti's fortunate that he's not come away with a serious injury there. I think that's a red card.
He doesn't catch him flush on the ankle, but it's like sort of the back end. But
He's
surely
late.
that shouldn't matter, really.
He's late. I think it's a booking. He's late. These things happen. I don't think there's malicious intent. I don't think he's really out of control. He's just late. I'm not even sure Rangers got a free kick for it, which is strange.
No, I don't think they did.
Because it's a blatant foul. It's as blatant as you'll see. So not to give the free kick was incredible. I think it's a free kick and a booking, personally.
I think it's a red card. I think that's when you were talking about Maeda potentially being a red card. I think that's more of a red card.
Okay.
Oh, you said there was 2 red cards, Des.
Yeah.
2 red cards.
That's the last one I've got in my box, guys. Don't know if there's anything else you want to raise with Des before we let him get his dinner.
There's one thing that's been talked a lot about. The Rangers thought they'd scored a second goal towards the end of that game in Paisley. Thello Asgard was set up by Mikey Moore, I think it was.
Yep.
And he tucked it away from 6 yards. There's been all sorts of... And this is coming back to what we discussed previously, Des, about the lines, and I want to trust the lines because I think that should be factual and it removes the sort of subjectivity. It's just a matter of fact. Have you seen the stills and the sort of a rammy about that? The picture quality looks really poor on the grabs themselves.
Yeah, I've seen, like everyone, I've been getting folks sending me them and asking for comments on it. And you look at the cut of the grass, you look where the ball is, you look where the Asgard is, you then see the lines getting put over the top of it. Was it Nottingham Forest Fulham were playing after it, and you seen a boy in the 3D image was offside because of his backside. We're running diet VAR up here. We don't have the camera angles and the technology that other areas have. I'd hate not to trust it, because we've got to trust the technology. But it's making me lose more faith in it week by week. I don't know what to make of it, if I'm perfectly honest. I've got to trust it that it was correct, but it doesn't look particularly great, does it?
Well, John in the comments says, you've got to trust the lines. Etch-a-Sketch is a well-known brand. I mean, some of them are a bit ropey, aren't they?
Yeah, I think Hawkeye's down to one eye.
I think if you're going to get VAR for Timu, we're going to have to accept it's going to be a bit ropey at times, I think.
That's true.
Aldi VAR.
That's that.
I've just lost a bit of faith after our conversation. Was it last week, Des? Week before? When I just took it for granted. I thought that was just the rules, that it was factual. It was, the cameras are all aligned. We can't make a mistake with the lines. And you disheartened me when you told me that might not necessarily be the case.
Well, it's how I'm feeling. It's how I'm feeling as well. It's exactly how I'm feeling. I'm just, what are we getting, and how much can we trust it? Because I certainly want to trust it, but they're not really restoring a lot of faith, are they?
Mm.
I think that's a depressing note, but a depressing note for us to end on, I think. Des, it's always an absolute pleasure having you on.
That's sending me away depressed for my dinner now.
We're all doomed, Des.
That's that. Infamy.
Des, as ever, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for joining us on Hotline Live. Something tells me I'll be texting you again soon to get you on.
No worries. All right, guys. Speak to you later.
Thanks, Des.
Thanks, Des.
The one and only Des Roache there. Love having Des on. We've got plenty of other things to talk about. Where should we start? A lot of people were asking about the Scotland squad. A couple of people in the comments as well, Mick, asking about your piece on Record Sport today about the Celtic. The title race might have tipped in Celtic's favour.
We're getting slaughtered as usual.
No, I'm trying to find it right now. No, it was one saying just ask Mick.
Oh, was it loads of admirers, I guess, yeah.
Aye, all your fans.
I can imagine the response. A very, very interesting piece, Michael. I agree with everything you said.
Something like that.
Well thought out, well argued.
Well argued. I didn't believe it, but now I do. I've changed my mind.
It was well argued, but the 5 points that the title race might, and I should stress, might have tilted in Celtic's favour.
I was only posting the question, that was all. It felt like a big weekend, didn't it? For the title race with Hearts slipping up and Rangers and Celtic catching up. But it was the question, as the tectonic plates in the game, the league title race shifted towards Parkhead. I just think it was a comfortable, in the end, victory. There was a united front with the supporters, which was the first thing for months this season. I just thought it was a big move, turning pressure on Hearts, and they slipped up straight after it. Yeah, I just think that it looks like, and there's more to come. There's guys coming back, guys like Callum McGregor and Rojo and Engels coming back, Arthur Johnson. It might just be that Celtic, have got by this period, might be coming out the other side looking a bit stronger. That was all. But as I did say, I had a chance. I'm sitting here next Monday, got that. It's back into Rangers court. It's Hearts are favourites. So, listen, the bookies have made Celtic favourites over the weekend. And who are we to argue, I suppose?
I should say as well, though, that there was another piece on Record Sport Online today. Yourself, Keith, saying that Derek McInnes still holds the golden gun in the Premiership title race. And a couple of people, McInnes saying Devlin's back in full training today. Shank starts his full training tomorrow. Look, I would agree with you, Mick, that maybe it's just in Celtic's favour right now. But you know the thing last night, Keith, on the show, a lot of Celtic fans getting quite excited and buoyant. I think it's maybe a wee bit premature.
Look, we keep saying, it's pointless trying to predict. I'm just trying to, my argument, that column there, was merely pointing out, as we discussed the other night, Daniel, I can't remember a single title that's been won by a team that doesn't have at least one prolific striker.
Mm.
to lead the attack. And for me, Hearts have got the best two. So that's why that graphic there is, I think you did it up yourself, Daniel. Very nice work. The manager with the golden gun. He's got two strikers that have got 31 goals between them this season, and Lawrence Shankland's been out for 2 months. So that, for me, is a massive advantage against two sides that don't have a decent functioning centre forward between the two of them. And I think that in the final analysis, that could weigh in Hearts' favour. The fact that they've got two guys that will take chances out of nothing. And Rangers and Celtic are both, they just don't have a goal scoring striker between them.
What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I get that. I mean, listen, Shankland scored 4 and 6 before he got injured, so he was banging them in before he came out the team. It was a big difference, and you can see without Shankland, Hearts have struggled. They've lost 3 of the last 6 games. They're struggling for goals. Kabori's not done it up front. Kabanga's not doing it up front. Very little. The start of January signings like Mato is not had an impact yet. In fact, most of the January signings haven't really made an impact for Hearts as yet. So yeah, Shankland coming back is absolutely massive. I totally get that. He is a guy who makes difference in these games that are so. Listen, Hearts games, it feels like every week's tight for them. A bit like Celtic. And Celtic and they're all very similar. Very tight games, and it only takes a moment. And Shankland more often than not is the guy who delivers that moment. So I totally get it that Shankland coming back is, I mean, absolutely massive for Hearts.
Shankland coming back, Mick, but they've already got Braga. Yeah. I think Celtic and Rangers would bite your hand off just to have Braga.
Oh, definitely. Aye.
No, I do take that point as well. I totally agree. But then Celtic are the top scorers in the league, surprisingly. Yeah. They're not reliant on one guy getting the goals. So if because they've not got one guy getting the goals. So if Shankland doesn't,
he is that guy.
Well, it has been. But if Shankland doesn't score, then Hearts, you think, where's the goal? I mean, it's to say Braga as well, but it's not been shared around as much. I just think all these teams are struggling to get results on a weekly basis. Every week's a slog for all of them. And sometimes the narrative changes. Listen, this week we're saying that Celtic, they won by 2 goals, so they're a little bit more comfortable. Therefore, they're the ones that are maybe in the ascendancy. Rangers scraped to a win at St Mirren, and Hearts get beat. Whereas Hearts have scraped a few wins here and there. I mean, Rangers get credit for grinding out wins for a while, and then that wasn't quite cutting it. Hearts have been grinding them out all season. So Martin Neal done it for a while. So it's not going to be 3-4-0 wins all the way home. Now it's going to be inch by inch, week by week, a slog, and waiting for these moments of quality to win games. So you're right in fact that Shankland is a guy who can win a game almost out of nothing sometimes. So it's a big thing for Hearts, him coming back, and even psychologically, the team know that as well. So if it is a close game and it's going down the stretch, they know they've got a guy in the pitch that can make a difference. But likewise, Celtic Rangers are doing the exact same thing. They're getting there just about by hook or by crook. They just don't have that reliable guys up front. They haven't relied on other guys chipping in. So I take that point. I just think with Celtic, they've got the run in they've got. I mean, after they get by, they get 2 Dundee teams away from home, which are tricky games. If they get through these 2, they're going to have 4 of the last 6 games at home. If the crowd stick with them like they did the weekend, and if they play the way they played the second half against Motherwell, they might take a bit of stopping with those home games. I know their home record hasn't been brilliant this year. I mean, they lost 3 games at home this season, which is unheard of. But 2 of them came under Wilfred Nancy in the Wild Wilfred days, Rangers and Hearts. And the other one was under Martin Neal, was the 10-men defeat to Hibs. So they've been strong under Martin Neal at Celtic Park. And if the crowd park their kind of grievances for a few weeks to pull together for the greater good, I think that 4 out of 6 home games for Celtic does give them an advantage if they get through the Tayside doubleheader.
The other thing before we go into the Scotland squad, Mick, we did the Record Celtic podcast earlier on today. It's out there if you want to have a listen. You mentioned that it's your understand perhaps Jens Bertalascu would be interested in the Celtic job if he was asked for talks in the summer. I
don't think there's any perhaps about it. I think he would be. What I've been told, people around about him, that he would very much be interested in the Celtic job. And why would he not be? Let's be honest. He's been good. He's been good. He's asked about it a few times, and he's been quite cute about it. Rightly so. He's got a job to do at Motherwell. He's done a great job. and I understand why they'd be interested, and I understand Celtic. I mean, he is a person of interest at Celtic, and I understand he would be receptive if that call came. He'd be jogging up the M74. I have no doubt about it. But there's a lot to happen before then. Celtic are kind of having a bit of a rejig behind the scenes. From what I gather, that's kind of underway. Obviously, the title race is taking the kind of focus right now, but they are looking to kind of have a bit of a shuffle behind the scenes. They need it. Obviously, they need a new recruitment chief, need a new chairman, need a new manager, probably going to need 15 new players. Yeah, so there is work to be done at Celtic. They can't hang about. It's now March. I mean, I say a lot of work being done in this squad for next season. I know there's a big focus this season. It could be it's going to be a brilliant finale no matter what happens. But regardless if Celtic win with trophies or not, they'll get a massive amount of work to do in the summer, and they can't afford to hang about. They can't be sitting in August trying to sign 12 new players that they have done before. So I'll be interested.
Mick, completely agree, and said something similar the other week. If Celtic are doing their work right, then they've already identified the guy that they want. They've already agreed a deal with the guy that they want, and the guy that they want should be drawing up a list of targets of guys that he wants. For Celtic to start going out and laying the foundations of getting deals done right at the start of the window, as early as possible, so that there's a new manager in town. He's identified a bunch of new players that he feels are going to increase the general standard. All these things have to be happening now. I just wonder, with this Celtic in this sort of a current state, I doubt very much that that's where they are right now. I kind of feel as if the whole thing's up in the air. Thankfully, Martin O'Neill has stepped into the breach here, and we'll just kick the can down the road and deal with it in the summer. See where the cards lie. But if they're doing their work properly and professionally, these conversations have to be taking place right now ahead of the summer.
No, I totally agree, and I think it is a bit of limbo right now. I mean, it can't be done. We saw it with Ange Postecoglou came in. It was a lot of work required after that. That was after the COVID season, 9 in a row, failed 10 in a row season, and he had 2 weeks in quarantine in June. Remember the COVID years? Remember the whole? Yeah. I got the spine. Oh, so I didn't even mention it. I got a shudder. He sat in his hotel room in quarantine and went through. I mean, Celtic had an extensive kind of list of scouting targets, and I think he read every single file. I think it was over 200 files, and the staff can see when it's been read. And he read the whole lot, and it turned out that a lot of the guys that he knew. I mean, I think Kyogo was on that list. You'd obviously other guys like kind of your Jotas and Carter Vickers and Carl Starfelt. Joe Hart was a slightly different one. But he had 2 weeks to sit there, and then obviously had his own links with a certain agency as well that he could lean on. So he came in with an idea what he wanted, and he did bring in a lot of players quite quickly. In that first summer, he brought in a rake of players relatively quickly. It wasn't as quick as some people make it out. I mean, there's a lot of misty-eyed Celtic fans go, "Oh, that season with Dom McKay, you know how to do a job and all, you know how to get a deal." We're like, no. Listen, Carter Vickers and Jota, and these guys came in the last day of the window. Right on deadline day, but Kyogo, Starfelt, Hart, Abada, all these guys came in sharpish, and that's what's going to be required. So it can be done quickly if you're mind to. But the main thing they need is the manager, because I don't think they can rely on keeping Martin O'Neill around next season as well. I know it's a nice idea for some people, but give Martin a break for goodness sake. The poor man's earned his money this year, so let him put his feet up.
Well, David in the comments says, if Martin wins the league, he gets a 2-year deal. Put your money on it, Keith. So there you go. No, you're not a betting man, though, Keith.
No. And when I do try and become a betting man, as I did for the horses at Cheltenham last week, it really ends well. It just disappoints me. Martin O'Neill has been incredible, and he has been Celtic's absolute safety net this season. And you know, it's what he's managed to achieve with a squad which is fundamentally needing a complete rebuild, almost a complete rebuild, and yet he's keeping them winning games. I talked about this last night, Daniel, about what I think about the job that he's doing. But he's just turned 74. is it realistic to say, Martin, come on, sign up for another 2 years? I'm with Mick. Give the guy a break. Enjoy him for what he's doing just now and for however long he's here, because it has been this incredible fairy tale story. But come on, let's get serious. If Celtic want to do something about really kind of blue sky thinking, I feel like, or a fundamental contemporary change to the way the club's working, then they need to find themselves a manager for the longer term. They can't just keep turning back to Martin O'Neill. They need to have something in place, something, you know, that suggests this is the way forwards, not the way backwards.
The very last thing, guys, that we need to talk about is the Scotland squad. David Watson writes in saying it's a disgrace that Halkett is not in the Scotland squad and Milne. I think David is a big jambo. But the squad came out today, guys. I think there's no getting away from the fact that Finlay Curtis was the big surprise name included.
Yeah. So I find that really interesting. Danny Roll thought he could do without Finlay Curtis, thought that Finlay Curtis was kind of surplus to requirements because he had Skov Olsen, Gassama, Antman, Mikey Moore to choose from in the wide areas. But contrary to the way that he's thinking, Steve Clarke has fast-tracked him right into the Scotland squad. So go figure. I think it's a really good decision. You know, we're obviously short in the wide areas just now with Ben Gannon just about coming back from injury at Bournemouth. And Steve Clarke was at Rugby Park at the weekend on Saturday night. I thought he was outstanding again, Finlay Curtis. And yeah, I'm all for that. I do think that's a very good point about Halkett, because I think he's been outstanding for Hearts this season. And we're not blessed with great options in the centre of defence. I would have seen a fair bit of sense in getting him in to have a look at him at close quarters in these two friendlies. Surprised that didn't happen, actually.
Not one Hearts player in the squad, as Rebel says in the comments. Surprising.
Shankland and Craig Gordon would both have been in had it not been for their injuries. Shankland's certainly in the same boat as Gannon Doak. He's just about back. I think that Connor Barron is probably another one that would have, had it not been for the injury and it not been for the fact that he's just getting back. I think he would have been in the squad. There's an interesting debate to be had about Tony Ralston, who has been kept out of Celtic's defence by a young Scottish player that doesn't get into the squad. But obviously Steve Clarke, he's got guys that he knows he can hang his hat on, and Tony Ralston appears to be in that category.
Big Rab saying that, Mick, that how did Ralston get in? Donovan's better. I mean, it's a fair point.
Listen, you know Steve Clarke, he likes the guys he knows he can trust, and Ralston's rarely let him down in a Scotland jersey. I know he's not played enough a lot this season. It's just a shame that Aaron Hickey is again injured. It seems to be quite a common thing for the kid. I just like to see him getting a run of fitness and a run of games. We could do with him fit. Couldn't we not see Patterson back in there? It's a problem position. I mean, I actually think Harry Miller, seen him playing for Hearts a couple times on the other side, the right hand side this season, played right wing quite a few times this season. I would have had him in there for his versatility. I know he's left back, so it's the one position we've got an abundance of players in his left back. And the right side not quite as the same. So, but I think Milne would be a good shout because he is versatile. So yeah, he's the one. I take the point. Halkett, I think he's a terrific season. So that would have been one. But I mean, Clarke, for most of it, he's stuck with his tried and tested. I mean, the Curtis one's a bit of a curveball. And I get the point about the Rangers let him go, but he started, 5 games for Kilmarnock. He hadn't started that many for Rangers. With 2 starts in the league all season. So the whole purpose of that move is to get him there playing games, help him develop. And that
100%, Mike. But I think you've got
so it's working.
That's 100%. But I think there's a very strong argument that he should be getting that game time. He should just be getting it in a Rangers shirt.
But would he be getting?
I think he's a. Well, this
he's not getting the same game time at Rangers at this stage of the season.
So, but the question would be, why is that? That's down to Danny Roll's judgment. Because for me, he's a better bet. That young boy is a better bet than all the other players in the wide areas, apart from Mikey Moore.
Yeah, but they're buying guys. They're bringing guys in like Scov Olsen, who's a guy worth apparently £9 million in the summer. You think that's going to be the answer? He's not going to start 5 games in a row for Rangers this season at any point in time. So he's come out to improve, develop, and come back a better player. So as far as I'm concerned, that's what a loan deal's for. If he goes and plays well, you don't go, oh, he's doing. We should really have kept him. He's doing really well. He's doing well because he's there. So it's doing its job. That's what loan deal's for.
I thought to be fair to him, Mick, I thought he showed signs whenever he got a chance.
I agree.
And his chances were limited, but whenever he looked to me as if he was a better bet than some of the guys that Danny Rowe had brought in for those positions.
I would agree to an extent. I don't think the way Danny Rowe plays and is playing at the moment would particularly help him. This narrow. I mean, we're being kind, saying direct. You could call it hoofball, if you want. It doesn't do the wingers any favours. And you notice how they're all struggling, the wingers. You say Mikey Moore's not, I would say, is different because he can play inside. He likes the ball in tight areas. He's different. Whereas the rest of them are more like normal orthodox wingers, and they're struggling for this way of playing. Because it's the Rangers are bypassing the kind of the building through the midfield into the wide areas. It's getting up and fighting for scraps, then get it wide. And it's not that easy for them. So I think he's done a great job doing it at Kamar, and it's been good for him. I think the thing for Rangers is they're getting a player back in the summer who will be better than he left, and maybe then ready to go and be that guy next season. So it's a bold move. Listen, we could do my wee namesake, wee Gannon Doak. We could do we get him back.
Need him back.
We're going to end up in the World Cup countdown soon, aren't we? With Gannon Doak.
But he's almost there. That's the good news. And also, I asked Steve Clark today, and is there a world where Finlay Curtis comes in, impresses you, looks the part in the Scotland squad, and also gets on the same plane as Ben Gannon Doak? Is that possible? Is it feasible because of the numbers? And Steve Clark confirmed, yep, that scenario would be entirely possible. So, and wouldn't that be good if we went with a couple of young teenagers that have got a lot of ability? They're different players, Gannon Doak and Finlay Curtis, but I think they can both make a contribution. I think that especially at a time, because I think there was a little bit of the old Harvey Barnes humming and hawing, and then So see, you have two young Scottish guys that are absolutely desperate to pull on that blue shirt, and who can make a difference. They could be potential game changers on the biggest stage of the lot. I'm all for it. I hope it goes well for Finlay Curtis in these 2 games against Japan and the Ivory Coast, because I like what I see in him. I think he's got a big future.
Has the ship sailed on Ollie McBurney? 16 goal contributions, 14 this season. George Hurst is in. I think he's only got 8 goals. Is it now over for McBurney in terms of Scotland, do you think?
I would have thought so. Mick?
Aye, I mean, he hasn't had a good season. But it does look at, I think Clark will have probably about 95% of his squad sorted. And the ones from this group are the ones that have got a chance to get, like Curtis's and these guys that have got a chance to kind of nudge their way in. Because you say Shankland coming back, Gannon Doak, hopefully there'll be at least one Gannon in America in the summer. Don't get me started. So I think unless there's a few injuries, I think Ollie's maybe time might have passed. Unfortunately, he's a different kind of player. I take the point. It would give us an option up there, wouldn't he? But I just don't see it, to be honest.
The very last thing that we need to finish on, guys, is that Ross writes in saying this is the most intelligent Scottish football discussion. Well done. And Chris says it's the best Scottish football fix. Thank you from Houston, Texas. What a way to finish, guys. That's lovely, isn't it?
Are they watching some other show?
I was going to say.
I'm very proud of the Hotline. Thanks very much, guys. Don't listen to they two. That brings us to the end of Monday night's Hotline Live, brought to you by NordVPN. Thank you for all the comments, especially those last 2. Mick, it's always an absolute pleasure.
No worries, guys. Catch you later on.
Cheers, Michael.
Hopefully Des Roache has got that spit roast on. I'm starving here.
Hopefully, I will make up my round to Des' house now.
There you go. There's exactly the way to end this show, thinking about Des Roache and a spit roast.
On that note, thanks for watching. We'll be back at 6 p.m. tomorrow. Hope you can join us then. Cheers.